Right. And we are live. Hopefully, let me just check. Uh, as always, guys, I will give you a couple of minutes to join us, um, and then I'll start the analysis. Um, just me tonight again. It's work week, so Dev can't make it. So it's just me. Get the pleasure of seeing my face for about half an hour for another week. So good stuff. As always, guys, as you're joining in, make sure to leave your comments down below and I'll try and get to them um, as fast as I can. We'll go one by one. First come, first served. Usually that's how it goes. So if you do have any questions, if you do have any thoughts, because there will be lots of thoughts, I would imagine, tonight after this embarrassing display. Let's just put it that way. Actually, there's no other way. There's no other way to say it at this point. Um, yeah, I think a shit show is the appropriate response to this game. But let's go one by one. Let's go we'll go nice and slowly. Um Talk about the game, about the players. Obviously, I'm sure that you guys will have um opinions and you want players analyzed and obviously flick analyzed. So we'll do that. Let me just share this everywhere so we can start. We can spread the word a little bit. I'm not sure why this is not showing on my X. For some reason, it's not showing there. Okay. Anyway, give me 1 second. Let me try and fix that. It is meant. It says it's streaming on X, but I can't seem to find it. If you can find it, guys, please please do share it. And as always, just post your comments down below, and then we'll see what happens. Okay, I'm trying to fix this. Anyway, okay, lots of comments already, so we'll go through them. Lanley, nice to see you as always. Um, yeah, tonight wasn't good. Uh, I think it was one of those nights which was coming, to be fair. I think even against Slavia Praha and even against Copenhagen, we had these slow and flat starts. And we talked about this on the last stream as well, guys. This was bound to happen. When you start this slow and you finally face a team that has the tools to exploit it, not even just the tools, but the quality, because many teams do have the tools, but they just don't have the quality to do that. So even if they know what the right plan is, they still don't have the quality to execute on it. And to be honest with you guys, this is what happens most of the time in La Liga, where you have these players or teams. You have these teams um, that know how to hurt Barca. They know exactly what they need to do, and then they try and execute on that plan. However, what ends up happening is that they don't have the quality to actually do it right, and that is the big thing here. Um, I'm just trying to post the stream so people can see it, but for some reason I can't even see the stream on X. It's not showing. Anyway, so yeah, this was bound to happen. I think this starting flat, we talked about it last time. European teams were always going to take advantage of it. Now, Atletico Madrid are obviously um, they've had ups and downs this season, but you have to remember that this Atletico Madrid team has gone through a massive overhaul and I wouldn't just say this here. Yeah, Lookman is the obvious guy here to highlight, and you could say, okay, fine, Griezmann as well. Has He was fantastic tonight, and the way that Simeone deployed him was also very much. It was right on the money, right? It was right on the money. So I don't know. But anyway, yeah, this is the exact blueprint that you would want the teams to use against Barcelona. And the problem is, guys, we have seen this numerous times, right? The game plan to actually beat this Barca, hurt this Barca, has been the same for ages now. And I know you've heard this story numerous times before, but and we've had this discussion on the stream and on the channel multiple times. But the fact the fact of the matter remains that there is a clear formula to hurt this Barca, and if you do it properly and you have just a little bit of quality, you'll more than likely you'll manage, right? Um, and teams do have that, right? So with Julian Alvarez and Griezmann, for example, or not even Griezmann, it was more so Simeone who was attacking the space, but Griezmann was peeling into the midfield and kind of dragging these, or not even dragging, he was just making so much chaos that our defenders just didn't know who to mark. And Griezmann in midfield in particular is what makes this so difficult for Barcelona, right? But no, but the general rule of thumb is you need to have at least two pacey forwards, um, not even at a large distance from each other, but close enough, somewhere between Barca's center backs and full backs. So that's the sweet spot they want to target. These half spaces, kind of where you want those runs to begin, and that's how you essentially do it, right? That's the area where you want to attack Barcelona. Um, but it was not just that. It was the whole left side for Barca felt so exposed. And I know we talk about the highline a lot, we talk about the offside trap a lot, but I don't think that in particular was the issue. The issue was more so with the late runs before the halfway line, because that kind of makes the whole high line or the whole offside trap obsolete. So if you're gonna go into the game and hoping to catch players offside, and then the other team just uses late runs before the halfway line, or players coming late from in behind, whatever you want to call it, it's super easy to obliterate the offside line, right? And on the counter, especially where Atletico just went down one side, they went down the left side and then switched to the other side, and that kind of gives you the numerical superiority because of the fact that Barca were pushing so many players to cover that one side, and it was actually quite. I don't know. It was quite easy. Overload one flank while isolating the other. Obviously, compress that high line kind of, and then make that quick switch. And Barca generally as well tonight, especially they were not able to defend those cutbacks, and we're generally very bad at that at defending cutbacks. It's just I don't know. It seems like we don't track those runners very well. And yes, people will say, "Oh, where was Frankie? Where was Furman? Where was Kunde? Where was Balde?" And I think all those players, yes, were for the one point or the other. But if you can name that many players, guys, see, this is a thing. We will find scapegoats tonight, because you can definitely go out there and point fingers at this player or that player. But the fact of the matter remains, if you can name so many players who have missed or underperformed tonight or done mistakes, then that kind of gives you the bigger picture here. Because at the end of the day, that's what it was, right? It was a massive collective underperformance, um, and there's no escaping the fact, right? There's no escaping that, right? I'll just try and share the stream one more time, because for some reason it just won't let me do it. Um, there we go. It's not showing. It's not showing on my timeline at all. That's why we got only 27 people watching. But anyway, I've shared it now. If you can help us by sharing it too, that would be extremely helpful, guys. But um, and yes, I will touch upon more things. I will touch upon the referees as well, and I will touch upon some mistakes that we did. Although to be fair with you guys, I think I did not expect Atletico Madrid to go out and be this aggressive and be this resolute and have this intensity in their pressing, especially off the ball. See, in the opening of that game, we know the Barca start flat, right? We know the Barca don't have these great starts to games, and I think you have to, as a coach looking to battle Barcelona, you have to take that into consideration. I think that's exactly what Simeone has done tonight. He looked at Barca's flat start and he was like, okay, that is the moment for us to actually press them. That is the moment for us to actually try and hurt them. And when you combine those two things, so Barca starting flat and then Barca struggling against a high press, you need to combine those two elements and use them at the same time. And that's exactly what Simeone has done. And it worked wonders, right? Everything just fell into place. It all, and then it starts with that Joan Garcia mistake. And guys, I think just before that mistake, Joan Garcia had a massive save, which was basically a one versus one that he saved. And these mistakes will happen, but it did do massive damage, not in terms of just going goal down. That happens and it can happen to any goalkeeper. And I'm sure it will keep happening to goalkeepers across Europe, across the world. But it was also the exact push Atletico Madrid needed um, to keep the momentum going, because all of a sudden their early pressure pays off and they can keep building on it. Um, right. I'm going to start reading over a couple of comments. And let's see what you guys think. We have been papering over the cracks all season. I think that is, to a certain extent, that is true. See, I had this funny feeling ahead of this game, but a good feeling nonetheless. I was watching Lamine Yamal in the tunnel and going out and kind of doing this little warm up thing. I was watching Frenkie de Jong as usual, and the guys seemed fine. And for a second, I thought, okay, I think I'm quite confident this Barca team can go out there and they can put up a fight. They can beat anyone, even on their day. But then this happens. And when you say papering over the cracks, that's exactly what I meant at the beginning of the stream when I said, okay, Copenhagen and Slavia Praha were amazing examples of exactly this, because we saw those teams push us to the brink and they were just missing that little snippet, that little something, a smudge of something, a smudge of quality to actually get over the line. And Atletico Madrid actually had that quality tonight, which is quite fascinating to me, considering they were missing quite a lot of players as well. I mean, when you think about it, they didn't go into this game with Cardoso, Barrios, or even Baena. Baena was on not in the starting lineup as well. And then you have no Sorloth, and then you have Julian Alvarez, who is, let's face it, he wasn't in good form, and then he gets his first open play goal after 11 games or something ridiculous like that. So don't get it twisted. This Atletico Madrid side. I don't think he was just reading it of a piece of paper, which is the starting lineups. I wasn't expecting this, right? Um, but we Barca were very naive, right? Our approach, because look at the goal that we conceded. Um, I'm not sure which one that was. Must have been the second one, right? Because the first one was the Joan Garcia mistake. The second one, does that come after the switch, or was that the third one? Could be the third one I'm thinking of. The sequence is exactly the same as it was a couple minutes prior to that goal, and Barca cannot adapt, right? Because Musa plays a pass, a long pass into, it was a Lookman, it was someone on the flank, right, on the left flank, must have been Lookman. He controls the ball, cuts inside. Atletico play a couple of passes. The ball goes from the overloaded side to the underloaded side and they score. A couple minutes prior to that, same thing happens, only Kubarsi clears that ball, which means Atletico had this exact textbook playbook play or action in their head and they kept going for it. And we were very, I don't know how we didn't react to those things. And to me, that was the biggest thing. So when you combine the fact that Barca don't adapt, or at least not in within the half, they adapt when they go from first half to second half. Yes, Flick adapts in between the halves. That has to be said because Barca's second halves are generally much better, but we don't adapt mid half as well. That's number one. Number two, we start flat. Number three, Atletico start very aggressively or started tonight very aggressively. When you combine those things into one, this is what you get. So from that perspective, it's not surprising that we could consider as many as we did. But let's see. Van Lee, Flick just chucks on names again, not tactical nuance whatsoever. See, I would agree. Tonight you had kind of generally we had lack of quality as well. When you think about it, guys, and I don't want to turn this into scapegoating or turn this into calling out players, but when you have Herman, Olmo, Ferran, Casado on the pitch at the same time, and then obviously players off the bench that you can use are, Gerard Martin, for example, or Cancelo, even in this case. There's not much quality or superior quality in there at all. So I think these names that Flick threw out and chucked out there at Atletico Madrid, there was not enough quality for that team to do serious damage to Atletico. We could have scored goals. I think it could have happened still. I'll come to the VAR decision. Let me know in the comments what you what you think. Although I do know what you guys think, I'm pretty sure I do. Um, but the fact remains there wasn't enough quality tonight. Um, just fix my camera for a second. Yeah, there wasn't enough quality at all, like at all. It's not really an excuse because we play the same in the same way, regardless of which players are players on the pitch and who is on the other side. There's not much difference between Barca playing Atletico Madrid or Barca playing Mallorca or Barca playing Real Madrid or Barca playing Bayern, and there's not much difference between Flick fielding Frankie Pedri and Olmo and Barca fielding Casado, Fermin, and Eric in midfield, right? There's not much difference. They will try and play the same way. And they will try and press the same way. They will try and attack the same way. And what you get is a mismatch in profiles and quality and intent. What do I mean by intent? If you look at the way that Lamine Yamal operates, for example, out wide, sometimes or at certain points tonight, it seemed like Lamine Yamal was operating at a completely different wavelength. I guess you could say. Not that he was miles better than any other player on the pitch. He wasn't really. He had flashes, but they were flashes. It was just that they were not in sync at all. Absolutely not. And that matters. It matters a lot. Uh, it and then we do have to touch upon the decision since we're talking about names here. Van Lee, he decided to go with Dani Olmo as the left winger. When you have Dani Olmo as the left winger, he is not really a left winger, right? He's more of a false winger, so to speak, or inside forward on the left side or inverted winger, whatever you want to call it. But there is no danger coming directly from him as the isolation winger, right? So what does that mean? That means that if Atletico Madrid want to put 2 or 3 players on Lamine Yamal on the right side, they can do so without having to be too afraid of Dani Olmo being isolated on the left. Because what happens if there's 3 players on Lamine and we somehow get the ball to Dani Olmo, who's on the opposite side of the pitch? Nothing happens because Olmo is a small space dominator. He's not a player who can receive the ball in open space, somewhere around halfway line and then burst into that open space and make use of it. He cannot do that, right? So there was no imminent danger for Atletico Madrid, and they could jog back and they could recover that space, even if Olmo received the ball well isolated on the left. So there was no real danger coming from that, which meant they could put all their resources into the right half space and the right flank to minimize Lamine Yamal, and that's exactly what happened, guys. So in short, yes, there were a lot of names just chucked there, as Van Lee points out, but I think the tactical ideas have not changed much. Even though the names obviously were different, that's number one, and number two, I do think the quality of those players on the pitch was not good enough. Right, let's keep moving, guys. Balde has not improved since a deep debut, still poor in the final third and bad positioning. Balde has had a quite a up and down couple of seasons. Yeah, I think it has been a couple of seasons. There's more factors going into that than just Balde is bad or Balde is good, because Balde still has insane games and Balde is still very much insane at what he does. He may never be a final third creative demon in terms of passing or crossing. I think that may or may not happen. Um, it could happen theoretically because the ball striking from him can be decent. I think there is a foundation there to be built upon. It doesn't guarantee anything, of course, but Balde can stay the way he is, or his profile can stay the way it is right now, and he can still be elite. That's the beauty of Balde. However, you cannot expect Balde then to do things that he can't do. That's what we are asking him to be, because he has obviously elite traits that make him that make him so good in the first place. But then we want more of him. We want him to be this wide width holder who cuts through defenses with passing and so on and so forth. So that's kind of the problem with our perception of who Balde should be or needs to be, and what Balde actually is. Right, next one, we have no depth, not so much. Yeah, depth is an issue because when you looked at that bench for Barca, what did you think? Did you think, okay, there's someone there who can change the game? Not really, right? You had Bernal potentially, who can obviously turn the game a little bit, but then in this scenario where you are expecting to be dominant on the ball anyway, you're not expecting Atletico Madrid to put up such an aggressive defense as was the case in the first half. Then you don't need Bernal as much. Well, don't need him. His value kind of decreases with that game state. Cancelo, in theory, could change the game a little bit because he is creative. He can do stuff. But again, this Cancelo is still nowhere near the level that he needs to be at. And then obviously Lewandowski was introduced in the first half. Yes, a game changer potentially, but then obviously still very limited in terms of uh well how much he can do, or how how much effort he can put in, right? That's kind of the thing. uh Sorry guys, I'm still trying to I'm still trying to um find the stream on Twitter. I'm not sure why I can't see it. I can't see the stream, but anyway, uh let's keep moving. Team didn't even try. No one was in the box to receive Yamal's passes. All players disappeared. Didn't see anyone on the pitch. Yeah, that is a big problem, and that was the story of the whole first half. Shubham, I do agree. Um, it seemed there was only one team on the pitch, and it wasn't Barca. Now, I did tweet somewhere around the end of the first half. If we can score one or two goals, we're very much in this game because Barca are capable of scoring four. We have scored four goals against Atletico Madrid last season. When we went two down, we turned it around and we won 4-2. We had that 4-4. Was that in the Copa del Rey as well? 4-4 potentially. Maybe I'm wrong. It could be. I think it was in the Copa as well. So we're very much capable of scoring four goals against Atletico Madrid. Now, can we keep a clean sheet at the Camp Nou? I don't know. Not playing like this, obviously, but it's possible. And had we scored at least one goal, I would still back us to go to the final. With this being 4-0, it it's a bit shaky. But you're right, though. The comment, you're right. Not with this attitude, right? It has to be different. It has to change. It has to be. Uh, we have to show something from the start. There's no more. If Barca show up only for one half of every important game moving forward, we can't expect much. If we get the second half Barca more often or most of the time, then yes, we're talking about something. We were supposed to outscore opponents and not care too much about the high risk defending style. Tonight we couldn't score against Unifor. That's basically what it is, Horizon. That's exactly what it is. The problem is with this system, it's not that it's so unstable. Well, it is unstable. The problem is, see, every system can be exploited. Every system has flaws, and no system is perfect. That's kind of the general thumb, the general rule of football. You can't find a perfect system that cannot be exploited. There's always ways. The main issue with flex system is that one mistake is often enough to kill you, right? So there's only one lack of, I don't know, of awareness, one mishap, one moment of not paying attention, and everything falls apart. Now, when you're playing in a system that is so fragile, that is so much a game of moments that depends on perfection, that cannot be sustained because perfection is highly unsustainable. You can't expect players to perform at the very peak, at the very best of their mental and physical capabilities every week. Now, mentally, the mental part is very important because we have seen players come out and say, okay, this system that we're playing, it is physically demanding, don't get me wrong, but it is that we can't really sleep. We're very nervous and we don't know what's going to happen. And we are at the edge of our seats essentially 24/7. That can't be healthy either. If he starts Cancelo left wing, will win. Arguably, yes. I think, well, or at least you would, in theory or on paper, it will give you a better chance than Dani Olmo in this case at left wing. Even though I would say that Cancelo is still not the perfect profile to exploit Yamal's gravity. I think Yamal's gravity is very important here because if you commit three players on Lamine Yamal or on that right half space, and the other team can't punish you for that, then what's the point? Um, I mean, what's the point from our perspective? Because we're not using Lamine's gravity at all, and if Simeone can freely put three players to mark one player and not suffer from it, that's ridiculous. So that's how important that left wing was for us, or that's how ineffective the false winger tactic was. We will see this again later on in knockouts in Europe. It is highly possible if Barca don't change the way they start games first and foremost, and again, the way we approach the dueling tonight, you could see that once again. You could see that, for example, not tracking back or not reacting in time. Um, these are all it's all fixable, right? Um, But the fact that this team has that weak core or the weak spine that doesn't win duels or doesn't know how to um, behave or how to react to these teams that come out with intent and with aggressiveness, that is the biggest problem in Europe because teams will bank on you starting flat and they will bank on you not be able to react to these physically demanding, intensive, aggressive plays, and you will get punished. It's just the way it is. It was too easy for Atletico to switch sides. That's exactly what kept happening in Horizon. It just overload one side, switch to the other, and I don't know what was happening on that left side for Barca. Balde was missing. Our midfielders were not tracking runners at all, and cutbacks. We cannot defend cutbacks for the life of us. I don't know what it is, but we just stopped tracking those runners. Even I think we had like four players around Antoine Griezmann for that goal of his. Four players, but they not single one was close to Griezmann. But we had four players like kind of forming a box around Griezmann, so it was technically a one versus four, and he still received the ball in space and still had the time to shoot and still scored a fantastic goal. Every team with runners and some firepower up front can hurt us. Yes, two pacey players in our back line, ideally between center back and fullback. You find them with first passes over the top. You don't even have to be, it doesn't have to be perfect. The play doesn't have to be perfect. As you just follow the blueprint and you have the right players with some quality, that's it, right? Um, you just force these plays over and over. Flick was out coached, just playing actual width on the left. I think he was out coached. I think Simeone, he knew what he was doing. He absolutely did. Credit to him. It has to be said. Um, and yes, we had no natural width on the left. I already spoke about this a lot, so I won't really spend much time here. But absolutely, there was nothing. And obviously, Rafinha's injured, Rashford's injured, and you don't. He could have played Ferran on the left, to be fair, potentially as well, and Lewandowski down the middle, or even try with a false. I don't know, right? There were some other combinations to do, but it's easy to be a general after the battle, right? So it's very easy for me now to say, okay, he should have played something different. Yeah, it's difficult. Lewandowski doesn't even run during a counter. I saw him beaten on pace even before he started. I mean, that's you have to expect that. It's obvious it's going to happen. Lewandowski can't run, but he still presses fine. He does it in bursts, and he does it when other players are tired and he's fresh. So I would say I'm not sure if the data backs this up. But I would say that when he does come on the 60th minute or so, you can actually see him be effective in that and actually running and using that. Oof, there's a lot of comments, guys, and I might not get to all of them. Let me just see if let me pick someone else's comment because I've been reading a couple of you guys' comments the the whole night. Um, Bassam says, "Is Hansi Flick's future in doubt since he's adamant playing this way and unwilling to adapt?" Well, he has been adapting somewhat, right? So it's not. Yes, we keep saying that Flick has this tactic or his philosophy set in stone, but he does tweak things. And we have seen Flick tweak things a couple of times throughout his tenure at Barca. I wouldn't say that his future is in doubt as of right now. Even when you look at most of these uh, campaigns for the next presidents or the elections, most of them spoke about Flick and about Flick being in the story and how they would support Flick and how they would make sure that Flick gets everything he needs. So at the very moment, I wouldn't say that Flick's job is in danger now. Depending on how the season unravels, if we go trophyless, I still think Flick would be given a chance. Now, would Flick himself want to stay for another year? That is a different question. different question. Structural suicide, yes. Spoke about this a lot on this stream, so I won't touch upon it too much, but yes. I think structurally, especially in the press, it was so horrible in the press as well. Oh, yeah, there we go. KG Leon, our press and link up under pressure were our biggest problems. Yes, you just have players that don't press as well or as much, and when it comes to receiving the ball under pressure, Casado can't do that without someone holding his hand. Furman and and Frankie are obviously better at it, but Furman was higher on the pitch, and Frankie wasn't enough. It just wasn't enough. And for some reason or the other, in the last couple of games, what I've noticed is that our layoffs, even if we do find the third man pass or a wall pass, or we somehow get the ball to a potential free player, the first time layoff ball into the next option is generally has been unsuccessful. Um, it is to do with two things, I think. Number one is that Atletico tonight were very good at actually marking us and sticking to their markers aggressively, which makes the reception and the layoff far more difficult. And number two, the quality of those players receiving the pass and laying those passes off has been unstable. Ferran can be good at it, then tonight he just wasn't. And even players like Lamine had some sloppy passes, or even Frankie had a couple of failed long passes, which he normally doesn't do. So it is what it is. We need to play a 4-3-3. The thing is, we have been playing a 4-3-3. It doesn't seem like that on paper because you think, okay, there's number 10 there, but Barca have been playing with two interiors for for a long time now. So it's just, I don't know. It's Lincoln says bad overall, and I think that kind of sums it up, guys. Bad overall, absolutely bad overall. Let's see this comment from someone today. Everyone from Flick to all plays for shit. Just letting you know if you must stop. Yeah, and that is kind of thing. Yeah, when you don't have any way to exploit the fact that Atletico Madrid are committing three players to stop one of our guys, then you just know that you don't have the firepower to do anything. And I would agree that it was a collective thing. It doesn't. I wouldn't really go out there and say, okay, Ferran was the reason we lost, or I don't know anyone, or Joan Garcia's mistake was the reason we conceded. I wouldn't say so. It is a collective thing, and let's see. What can Rooney play? We have nothing to lose. I mean, yeah, he could play. But do you take Lamine Yamal off for Rooney, or who do you take off for Rooney? Do you play Lamine centrally as number 10 and then have Rooney as the right winger? Potentially, but for Flick, I don't know. Sometimes it does baffle me that um, Rooney's not given more game time, but then Flick knows what he's doing. I mean, that's the thing that we need to believe in, I guess. Every time Griezmann plays at his best, I wonder how he didn't succeed at Barca. Uh, yeah, couple of things. First and foremost, yes, I agree he did not succeed, but he also wasn't complete shit either. Um, for his standards, he should have been, could have been better, yes. But then he was never played in his best role. He was never given the freedom or the positions that he would prefer because of you know it, Messi, right? And as long as Messi was there, Griezmann was never going to succeed. I think that's kind of goes one goes with the other a little bit. Guys, I'm just gonna put this up here. If you are enjoying the stream, I know it's just me. I know it's just me waffling for a long time, and I don't know why I can't share the stream with you guys on X. I just can't find it. It's not there, but I would appreciate if you guys would share it, follow us, subscribe. I will. Let me just put again the link to the blog. I'll put a link to the blog there. Shubham, no, Dev did not leave. He's still there. Just when it's the middle of the week, It's Thursday. Dev is in Sydney, so time zones are such that the games during the week are on when he's at work, so he can't make it during the week. Most of the time, he can't make it. He will be back on the weekend, but of course, we don't have a game on the weekend, so he'll be back. I don't know what the next game is, but he should be back. We'll see. Um, but he's still here. It's just that we either had to number one, so two options, guys. Okay, you can let me know now in the comments, please, because I would love to know this. Do you prefer us during the stream, even if it's just one of us, or would you rather we skip the streams if both of us can't be there? Because that was the discussion I had with Dev, and we kind of in the end decided that okay, we're gonna do the streams individually. So if one of us can't do it, the other one will do it alone. It was either that or we always skip the streams if one of us is unavailable, and we decided that was we would just miss too many games because something always happens. Either someone has work, or someone's sick, or someone's unavailable, or someone can't watch the game, and it's very difficult for both of us to coordinate because different time zones. He's in Australia and I'm in the UK. Time zones are drastically different, so it makes this very difficult. But let me know in the comments if you would prefer, if you don't like watching these individual performance, individual waffles. Um, obviously, obviously, we're fine with that as well. Just let us know in the comments. And I do like when you guys are um, so active. There's been a lot of comments tonight, and I do appreciate that. We do have 17 people watching on YouTube, which, to be fair, is a decent number for us. We generally don't get people on YouTube, and there's always one person on Twitch. Which whoever you are, very much appreciated. It's always one, so I'm guessing it's always the same person. It must be right. Um, but thank you guys. Yeah, as always, thank you for joining. I think I'm gonna cut it short. Um, yeah, Oh yeah, thank you guys. I can see the comments now about this. Yeah, I think it's better for us, even if it's just one of us. It's difficult to coordinate. You know, we do this as a side gig. This is just a hobby for us. We don't make enough money out of this to be doing this full time, and that's why you see our dips in performance. This is why we're not consistent because we have our lives and work. Especially Dev has he travels a lot. He works a very demanding job, and it it takes a lot of commitment and a lot of obsession to be doing this. But yeah, guys, we do appreciate and Shubham, absolutely fantastic. 17 people on YouTube, and yeah, this is why we keep doing this. It's not for the money because obviously there's we don't earn anywhere near enough money to be doing this for a living, but we do it because people seem to care. And we do have like 1,000 people on X, 1,200 to be precise. So thank you so much, guys. We do appreciate it. I've dropped the link here for the blog. This is where the majority of our stuff goes. This is where we put the biggest and most detailed analysis that we do. And thank you for supporting us. Obviously, subscribing is entirely up to you. You can just enjoy our streams, enjoy our tweets, and we do a lot of free stuff. So don't worry. There's something for everyone in there. Um, okay, guys, I think I'm gonna call it quits because it's getting quite late. I have work in the morning and I'm tired, and it's been a horrible night to be a Barca fan. I guess there's no two ways about it. There's no other way to put it. Um, but yes, I love the optimism. I think it is possible. It is possible, and Flex Barca can score goals, and we have scored 4, 5, 6 goals against teams in the past. So why not? It's not over until it's over, and it's not over until we win. That's how I go through life. It's not over until I win, and I think that's something the Barca should take with them to the second leg, and then we'll see. I think the second leg is sometime in March or something. I think so. There's time for us to recuperate and mentally and physically reset in preparation for that game. Obviously, La Liga will continue, Champions League will continue, so nothing's done yet, guys. we are still in a favorable position across the board. Well, Copa del Rey less so at the moment, but we can still end up with trophies. So don't lose hope. Don't let this setback ruin your night, week, day, whatever it is. Um, don't think too much about it. We will try and analyze it on the podcast potentially this week, this weekend to be more precise. And then we'll come back to you next week with more content. But yeah, thank you so much for joining, everyone. Again, subscribe, share, like, retweet, give us feedback, good or bad. We don't mind either. And thank you all for supporting us. And I'll go and I was gonna say cry on my bed, but no, I'm just gonna go to sleep. Right. See you guys. Visca Barca.